Unless this is your first day on the internet, you've probably seen this meme somewhere. It originates from an iconic Key and Peele sketch.
Not women? Wow! Okay, wow.
Recently, I stumbled upon a 3D render that instantly hooked me. Although I knew it was John Boyega and not Jordan Peele, I felt urge to bring this masterpiece into real world. Fortunately, there is a 3D printable model of Peele available. And look at his buffed neck. Also, the price, $12. And I decided that was a sacrifice I was willing to make. I warmed up my printer, sliced the model, and 3D printed it. I could have taken the easy route here and made it from plastic, but I decided to go full Bronze Age and turn it into a lesson on casting hollow models. I started by preparing the core mixture, which consisted of sawdust for easy removal, plaster of Paris to cement it together, and fire clay to prevent unnecessary shrinkage. Finally, I added water to activate the plaster. The mixture was quite thick and hard to work, but it didn't need to capture details, just fill the space. I also added some reinforcement to prevent cracking and detachment of the core from the body. Next, I glued sprues and intakes to the model and began working on the surface. I used a very thin paste for the first layer to capture every single detail. This is the most important layer, so I took my time to get it right. For the subsequent layers, I used coarser material since detail was no longer a priority. We are just bulking up. After finishing the third layer, I gave Peele the mobster treatment by wrapping him in chicken wire. This step isn't essential, but it provides better protection against cracking. With the reinforcement in place, I applied the final layer. Once the moisture escaped from the mold, I was ready to burn out the plastic and create a cavity for bronze casting. Ideally, I would have used a burnout kiln, but this is all I have at the moment. Now came the moment of truth. Unfortunately, I noticed bubbling on the side, indicating that the mold had cracked. And I had to redo the entire process, which means that I need to zoom out and get approximately here. Yeah, this is the spot. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's jump right to my second casting attempt. It went way better. But there was still sizzling in the metal, suggesting potential bubbles. We'll see how it turns out. But before I proceed any further, I have a confession to make. Because this project, from concept to finished piece of art, and yeah, it's art, was fueled by a single idea, a dead joke. Because right now, it's time to peel the peel. Let's give our boy a little back massage with a hammer. This revealing process shows how durable the second mold actually is. Using pliers, I removed him from the virus, and like a sweating butterfly, Peele emerged from his cocoon. There are some flaws, but nothing that a Dremel tool can't fix. Removing the core was a true challenge, but I eventually succeeded. Now it was time for detail refinement with the Dremel tool. There's not much to say here, so let's add some appropriate music. With the sculpture nearly finished, it was time to make a base. It's a simple shape, so sand casting was the best option. I cast the base in bronze just like the sculpture. Whenever I do cleanup, I try to remove charred areas and save the good sand for future casting. By the way, the bass also doubles as a musical instrument. I used my lathe to finish the shape. It could be done by hand, but it would be so tiresome and time consuming. But before I get any further, there are a few challenges that I need to overcome. The first one is drilling sweating holes, then milling the base to access the hollow part of the peel, create water tank in the head, add plumbing, and finally install a water pump. Let's start with the holes. Even though it's just a bronze sculpture, it feels a bit improper. With the holes drilled, I milled a pocket for the USB connector to power the pump. It fits like a glove. The last machining step was milling a hole through the base to access the hollow part of the peel. I wanted to patina both parts, so I used a solution called liver of sulfur, which sounds like something straight out of The Witcher. As you can see, I cleaned a small area because I needed to solder both parts together and add a little copper tube drainage. I bought a tiny pump that runs on 3 volts, so I also got a DC converter to step down the voltage from 5 volts used in USB to 3 volts. I did a quick test and voila, the pump is working. I will mount the pump in the peel, but first I had to turn the head into a water tank. To do so, I'm using a polycarbonate plate. Right now, I'm going to use a forbidden technique to fix the plate, so I'll have to blind you for a moment. Oops! You saw nothing. I reinforced the plate with epoxy and glued the USB connector to the base. I went full 5-minute crafts on mounting the water pump. And with a wooden cover in place, we are done. But before I turn it on, I need to fill the head and base with water. The moment I plugged in the power, I also accidentally captured my genuine reaction when it started pumping. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful? Let's admire it together with a bit of tasty music.